Come in. Good evening. How are you? Good evening.
The last time you came here, I got a woman here to help.
Okay. But now it's only you.
Yeah.
This is Wesahana Pearson reporting for Black Asia Magazine. I'm in Taiwan right now, and I'm outside of Taipei. I'm in an area called Hualien, which is about a good 3 hours outside of Taipei. And I'm talking to a restaurant owner. And you own a restaurant in Hualien, and you have a different kind of cuisine than most people have. If I look outside, I see a Mexican restaurant, a Korean restaurant. Your restaurant has different kind of food. So first, for the site, let's get into that. But can you first tell me your name?
All right. Sorry. My name is Bony Aore Emmanuel.
Okay.
I'm from Ivory Coast.
Okay.
I'm born in Ajake, that's in the south part of Ivory Coast. Ajake. Yeah. So I belong to the main group called Akan.
Okay. So I know there's a lot of Akan in Ghana.
Yeah, you just said. We come from Ghana. And the story said that we came originally from Egypt and Libya, whatever, anyway. Something like that.
All right. So you grew up for your whole life in Ivory Coast. When did you decide to start traveling out of your country?
Oh, I was in Ivory Coast and I left. I studied there and I left Ivory Coast to Austria in Vienna.
Okay.
I was there to finish my bachelor in psychosociology.
Okay.
And yeah, finally I changed. I studied different things. I learned electrotechnique and mechatronics. Mechatronics as electrotechnique.
Okay.
Everything about microelectronics, robotics, CNC, all these things. Everything which is mechanic, computer, and electronic. All these things. Like this robot from factory, we have robots. We have also some things like pneumatic, hydraulics, all these things. So that's my background. I left study in sociology and finally I made my diploma in electrotechnique and mechatronics in Vienna.
Okay. And how long were you living in Austria?
I spent 10 years.
Ah.
I spent 10 years after I worked also there for different companies, H&M, Siemens, Opel Austria, different companies. There was through a lease company that is called Manpower.
So you speak pretty good, got a pretty good handle on German, the language you speak in Austria.
German was my third language since I was in Africa.
Okay.
It was primarily that I would go to study abroad, and I chose German. And then, all the year that I spent also in Austria, I think my German okay for talking, okay for studying. As I came also in Taiwan, I even sometimes had the opportunity to teach some students.
Okay. Now, when you first decided to leave Ivory Coast, was it only for school, or was there anything else that kind of compelled you to go out and go abroad?
Oh, that was for school, and at the same time, it was time for me to go out of my country. And my family helped me to go. I have relatives like really quite everywhere in the world. And Austria was my first choice, and I applied for the university, and they check out my reports that I have at the Abidjan University, where I was studying before.
Right.
Abidjan is the capital of my country.
Okay.
And then they accepted my inscription. I told them I got the visa, student visa, and I went there and I had to pass some tests
Right.
for German.
Okay.
And then after I finished about all these tests, so I started to study. Then,
Okay.
and sociology in Vienna University are two different two types. One is romanistic. Romanistic is for just literature, other things, and the other one is how do you call that? More scientific sociology, include statistics, economic analysis, many things. It's sent into that part. So what to teach all this.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that with me. So, right, let's take a little bit of a step back. When you were growing up, and can you tell me again the part of the southern part of the country that you come from?
Yeah. I was born in Ajake.
Ajake.
I grew up also in different countries because my father was in the army.
Okay.
He was captain in the army, so whatever they sent in, we follow. And
Right.
we were in different towns before.
All within Ivory Coast.
Yeah, different Ivory Coast. Before my father passed away in 1981.
Okay.
So I was just turning 12.
Okay.
And yeah, after that, they sent him to the north part of Ivory Coast. The town is called Korogo, it's in the north. And after he died, then we all came back to the south.
Okay.
It's Abidjan, the capital. This is where I stayed until I moved from Abidjan.
Okay. So, in America, we would call that an army brat. Someone who grew up, one of both parents in the military and moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Can you just describe for me very briefly what was it like for you growing up, moving around, and then after you finally did stay in one place, what was that like?
It was okay. I mean, for me, it was okay. My mother, she was not in the army. My mother was a businesswoman.
Okay.
And father sometimes had to go on mission or whatever. But you know, in Africa, in that time, some people had an opportunity to have like housekeeper.
Okay.
And nurse, how do you call it, babysitter.
Right.
So there was a lot of people at home to take care of me, and my sister was also there. They went to school, but we still we have always someone from the family there. And my mother used to travel. To travel also abroad, like in Europe to buy some stuff and come back to sell. And moving to different places was a kind of good experience also for me. Of course, when you are at school, you make some new friends, and then you have to live there. To go to another place, it's a kind of, it's a little sad. But at the same time, it's also exciting when you have to go to another place, discover a new town, and make new friends.
Okay.
So it was a mixture of, yeah, exactly.
All right. So you said now Taiwan, before this Austria, and you were born in Ivory Coast. Have you traveled to any other countries in your life?
Since I was in Ivory Coast, I was just in Abidjan. And after I moved to Austria, I went to Hungary.
Okay.
Hungary and Germany, because my cousin was there.
Okay.
And I was a lot in France where my sister was living for a while.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell me some differences between life in Taiwan, since you've been here, and life in your home country in Ivory Coast where you grew up?
Well, anyway, nothing is like home. That's the first thing.
Okay.
In Africa, I left Africa, I was like 26, something like that.
Okay.
You know, it was another life. You know, I lost your father, and I wasn't being spoiled by my sisters and that. My sister, they used to travel also at that time, so this spoiled me.
Okay.
And for me, life was just that, man. You can have no clothes. Once you go to Europe or to go to America for vacations, they bring back some clothes. And I was like, trying to play the big guy, whatever. That was the time. And for me, it was like, I was still not mature, I would say. I made a lot of travel. I was also in the military academy.
Okay.
Until from 81 to 1985.
Okay. All right.
And I could be, today I could be like, colonel, because people from my promotion and outside coroners. So they are big guys, man. Give us a responsibility. But I was a guy who did, I play around and they throw me out from that school.
Okay.
So then they sent me to Europe to make me be a little bit better. When I say they, I mean my sisters.
Okay.
Then I was in Europe. After study, life changed. I started to take care of me. You have to work beside your studies because I didn't get any scholarship from the university. Everything was private. I had to pay your room, your money, everything. So then I started to work sometime, have something beside, because whatever they say to you is enough, but it's never enough. Because it's more, you have things, you want to buy this, you want to buy that.
You have to have a life. You have to pay for your own entertainment.
Yeah. So it was different. It was my first shock, man. Now it's different. But
money becomes real.
It was good. It was good for me, I could say today.
Okay.
It was good for me. I even say maybe they should have started that before they sent me to Europe.
That made you a little bit more mature.
Yes. That maybe would have helped me to make sometimes the right decision, not that easy decision because you are just pissed off because you don't have patience to wait. Because you are just spoiled.
Okay.
Yeah, they spoiled me because they didn't want me to think too much about father who's dead and that, whatever. Okay. So that was like that. And then you come to Europe and the first shock is like, of course, at home we have European friends, we have neighbors. European, yeah.
First time seeing white people.
No, that was since my country, since I was home, since I was a child. It was neighbors. But when you go in Europe and live there, it's totally different. The guy we are coming to a country, in their heads they are ready to deal with that neighborhood where you have blacks.
Yeah.
But when you go to the country, some of them are not ready to deal with you. They are not the same people who move from the country to Africa.
Okay.
That's another kind of people.
Okay.
And they could be everything but not what you are expecting.
Okay. What did you expect? You thought they were going to be just like the ones where you...
Yeah, I mean, you call and say, hello, how are you, blah, blah, for me, what, I don't care where you're from, white, from the Austrian, or the French guy, no problem, that was like that.
Yeah.
And then some of them, they make really parade,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you say, okay. Then that was my first shock. In your country, you feel you are okay guy, when you are like this and that, you know these people, you are easygoing. And when you go there, there's a shock.
Yeah.
A shock because there you are nothing. There's a show that you are nothing. Anyone, as long as a guy has a white skin or is an Austrian guy, can point at you like that and speak bullshit to you. And you will see you around here, no one will try to help you or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to face that.
How did you face it?
Of course.
Did you ever get used to that kind of environment?
It was Austria, the first year was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough, That was in that years, in 1996. One who was totally different. It was not like now. Now I heard from my cousin who are still living there that there are some jobs that they can even allow blacks to do. Yeah. But in that time that was totally different. Yeah. So I started to lose my dream, I just say that, man. There, it was hard, but at the same time I think it was okay. It was okay because it opened my eyes.
Okay.
It opened my eyes and I realized, okay, man, be careful, but not everyone is supposed to be cool. Everyone, not every white guy is supposed to be your friend.
Okay.
I made friends also there, good friends. The students are totally different.
Yeah. Younger
Many
people.
But some other people was not that friendly, right?
Okay.
So it happened. I have good and bad experiences, I would say.
Since you've been in Taiwan, has it been similar to living when you were in Austria? Has it been similar to that time with how people relate to you here?
Well, well, it's a little bit complicated to say. It's complicated for me to explain it since English is not my mother tongue. But what I can say is like the racism in not the racism, the way the people will treat you in Europe. I would say in Austria, because I can't speak about the whole Europe, right? Okay. The ways they will treat you in Austria and the way Taiwanese treated me here, that was not the same.
Okay.
In Austria, I faced racism at work. Even when you want to apply for a job,
right.
Some newspapers they just mention just for native Austrian, not even for Austrian. But you can feel okay, maybe if you have the Austrian passport, you can do it. No, for native Austrian.
Yeah.
It was like that.
I think in America right now that would be illegal. It still happens, but they're not allowed to explicitly state
they did it.
They like that.
Did it in the newspaper.
In the 90s.
Bang! In the newspaper. So you face it. And sometimes you sit there, no one wants to sit beside you in the bus or in the subway, something like that. It's nothing. It's like when I face that, there are some parts you want to enter, they say no, you can't. You need a membership card. In fact, there is no membership card.
That's just where keep you out.
It was like that, man. So I faced this kind of situation. So it was frustrating. All right, but then in Austria, okay, I got job opportunities too. I worked there, whatever. It was okay. I will not say that the whole country is, some people really made make me really feel bad. But generally speaking, I had a good experience from Austria. And then I met my wife there in Austria. She's Taiwanese.
She's Taiwanese,
yeah. And then we came together to, let's say, Ivorian, Taiwan. First in Taipei, then in Taiwan, and then Hualien. But I had also bad experiences. My first job was in Tainan, which is in the south of Taiwan. And I got also a very bad, bad experiences by
the way the people received you, the energy that you got.
It was fine. It was good with me. They treat me as a human. I can go to any pub I wanted. No problem. Sometimes they ask questions that was like a little bit, very naive. Like some people just ask me, are you from India? Or this? Yeah. Are you from Sri Lanka? Are you from Vietnam? Because or Indonesia.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, come on, watch me. Just take your time, watch me. Man, you see my face, everything. I don't even look like Asian. But I have this kind of question like that.
So when people do that, you're going to places and people will do things and like you have to wonder, is it ignorance? Or is this person like, you should know better than to do something or say something like that? You're doing it because it's a little bit disrespectful or something like that. Is it really, can you really just attribute that only to ignorance? Or is it like, this person doesn't know how to have respect for another kind of person that they don't know? And I'm getting at what I think. I think there's maybe in a lot of countries something lacking in their education. It's just like there's certain way you should know how to treat another person. That's it. Or is it just ignorance and when they learn a little bit better, then they stop doing it?
What I can say is like, that's why, I try to be careful by using the word racism.
Yeah, right.
Racism, I mean, when it's concerned Asian, I mean Taiwanese. I can't speak about what Asia, I have to say Taiwan.
Because this is where you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They, as you said, they are ignorant.
Yeah.
They're naive.
Okay.
But it depends also on what they need to see on the newspaper.
Yeah,
what they need to, get what kind of information they have when they are online on internet or something like that.
Okay.
Don't forget that Taiwan is a small country and you have a lot of foreigners, most are Western or American. You don't have that much black people here.
Yeah.
So for them, the first people that you get used to see are Caucasian types. And even want to see someone from America, like blacks and Caucasian or those Spanish or whatever. For them, okay, if you are dark skin, you are black, they think okay, you must be from America.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't have that.
Different parts of Africa,
Yeah.
South America, Europe, also
think,
you've been born there.
yeah, they don't think that much about that. You know.
Okay.
But they still, for me, I think, because maybe of the religion, because they are Buddhist, they still treat you at first sight as a human.
Okay.
And they respect you as a creature.
Okay.
Creature first.
Okay.
But there is still a racism.
Mm-hmm.
But the racism is more economical racism.
Okay.
And they do that even with the whites.
Right.
When you are white, the first thing is to see your color.
Mm-hmm.
Because they like white skin color anyway.
Yeah.
But then, beyond your colors, we try to see which country are you from.
Mm-hmm.
If you are from a rich country,
Mm-hmm.
or country that they know as rich, they treat you differently.
Okay.
Like people from Russia,
Or
Russia, when they come here, they want them differently than someone from England, okay, or whatever, you know, from Germany, or from France, or Italy, you know, they treat you differently.
Okay.
When you are from the States and you are black, they know what kind of problem you face being black in the States.
Yeah.
So they see you also from America, the beautiful America, that's called Mexico, is a beautiful country.
They want me beautiful country.
But they watch you as a black guy. But if you are a rich black guy, it's different.
Okay.
And then you're white, you are from the state, oh, then it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is the way they categorize, you know, foreigners.
They put everyone in like boxes.
Yeah.
It's like a status, or like there's tiers to how they view people. You can be on this level or that level.
Exactly. And
Okay.
that's the way they deal. That's the way they deal with all the people here. So, and that's another experience also that I have that I faced. But I have to say, man, for me, you know, I said to myself, no matter where you live, as long as it's not your own country,
Right.
man, you have to know that, you know, always things like that will happen to you.
Okay.
And bad experience are not to make you be sad, no, they have to make you be strong. So that's the way life is. Sometimes you even go back to your country and you can still also have to face frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the same country, people to get some people like he's a president, he comes from that tribe, he will give more privilege to his tribe, even in the government, and that will reflect also on the society. It's like that. So wherever we go, we have to face these things. So we just have to take it easy and try to educate the people, make them a little bit reschedule their mindset, try to change their mindset.
Okay. All right. Thank you for telling me that. Let's talk a little bit about the kind of work you're doing here in Taiwan. I think previously you had a different job, but now you're a restaurant manager, and the kind of cuisine that you have is mostly Ivorian food. All right. So can you tell me a little bit about this kind of work you're doing, how you got set up, and what is it like for you managing a restaurant in Taiwan?
Well, I never learned
Restaurant management, things like that. Okay.
I was interested in this thing, and I work also in the same, as a student, sometimes you go to work in a restaurant, you know, kitchen, wash things, whatever, and then sometimes the barkeeper.
Okay.
And I have a good experience because I met someone as I was in Austria, she from the Caribbean island, from Haiti. There's a woman who were a friend who became boyfriend and girlfriend for like 2 years. And she had a very big restaurant in a very nice district in Austria.
Okay.
And the 2 years that we spent together, she showed me a lot about reservation. She was a cook, and she teach me how to do this, how to make cocktails. And I started to have interest. I helped her out to manage the restaurant. But I didn't take extra classes for that. I just learned that from her.
Okay.
And I started to have interest in it. And I don't know, I said to myself, okay, one day, man, I hope one day I will get my own restaurant. And because I started to like that life, you know, meeting people every day, people from different places, make new friends. You know, I started liking it. And yeah, as I came here, of course, it was not my background. I came here, I was a sales manager for international sales for a company who used to sell bicycle.
Okay.
They manufacture bicycle, and I helped them to sell their bicycle outside Taiwan. The original name of the company was Asahi Bike. Asahi Bike.
Asahi like the beer.
No, it's not a Japanese company. It's a Taiwanese company. Just take that as a name. Asahi Bike.
Okay.
I was in Thailand, and I worked with them. I worked with them like 9 months, and anyway, something happened. I don't want to put that on the table. That was also my first bad experience working with Taiwanese.
Okay.
And that was a kind of racism also. Because it mentioned my color and my origin to see if you have to hire my salary or not.
Okay, so based on your origin and your color, the salary was different.
Yeah, and then that was a problem.
Yeah.
Because they never said that to me before.
Right, they just out of the blue.
Yeah,
You want
tax return. And I was, wow, we argued a little bit, and I said, okay, it's better. I quit.
So you quit after that.
I quit, and when we quit, only thing to do, okay, I was still trying to do like import, export on the internet. We even built up a company, my wife and me, that the office was at home. So we have all the legal document, everything, so we evaluate what we have. So we bought a house in Thailand, and we evaluate how much we have, and we use that place for working, in fact. I mean, we bought was a credit.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, so we opened a kind of import export company, but it was like in the middle. Yeah. And yeah, at the same time I opened also that kind of shop in Thailand also. We had a basement, it was like a lounge bar, and the first floor was a restaurant. And we tried to sell like African food, Ivorian food, and something like that. And I was always interested to share my culture, let people know about my culture. Not just in food, but across me, and try to know more about Africa, about Ivory Coast. Because I realized that people, they act sometimes badly, or sometimes you can hurt people because they're ignorant.
Yeah.
When you teach them, they will change. The way they interact with foreigners. The Western or whatever, the American, they did that job already a long time ago.
Yeah.
See what it is here? They did many things here. They
And
did a lot of things.
I think now most of the information that they get about Americans and Western people is mostly positive.
Of course,
In other countries, it's slanted towards more negative.
Yeah, they did already a great job. That's what they have to do. They did everything. They cleaned up everything. So, for all the Taiwanese, all the Asian, I would say, because I heard also some stories about the different countries in Asia.
Yeah.
I mean, they worship
White.
the white.
Yeah.
They worship them.
Definitely, yeah,
Because
definitely.
they make something. I mean, they make their story, right? It's like that.
I would call that brainwashing. I would say that.
It's a brainwash, of course. But our history has been hidden for centuries.
Yeah.
And facts.
Yeah.
You know, the first world map, they draw Africa very small and Europe very big.
Yeah.
You know, but in fact, it's not the same. And when you go to the internet and you type Africa, you will see most of the things like a dying child, a starving child, begging for food. That's the image. That's how about Africa. When you have news about America, he's a gangster, always have weapon and speaking yo, you know. That's the only thing. It means sometimes you always go and say, a young boy, he could be my son, man. I will be 50. And I see someone who could be my son, just watching me and say, hey, you my nigga, yo. After that, my first reaction was, where are my kids? Because if they were around, maybe they could start to fight with them. Because they were really far. That was my first thing. And after that, I said, it's fine. But you know, when a child, which is just a child, that can say to me, you stinking Negro, what's wrong with you? That's not even with respect. Why do you think where you learned that from? Parents, or somewhere.
Okay, so it's good that we're going to talk about this because you have a family here.
Yep.
And you're also telling me some interesting things about the Taiwan legal system with regard to how they treat foreigners. Can you go into that a little bit more and tell me about that?
Well, Taiwan as a foreigner, you don't have that much rights first. When it comes to family. Normally, the first law is like in Taiwan, when you get married and there's a divorce, the child automatically belongs to you. So you have
If you're
parental ownership of the kid, automatic. But if you are Taiwanese, if you are not Taiwanese, they will never give that.
Is it more favorable towards a man or towards a woman?
Yeah, to the man.
Okay,
in
so
Taiwan.
if you're a Taiwanese man, a Taiwanese husband,
Yeah.
and you and your wife split,
Yeah.
then the child belongs to the father and the father's family.
But as a foreigner, no.
The child belongs to the mother's family, and that's it.
They give to the mother.
So
Now I'm getting divorced from my wife, and that's what my lawyer said to me.
Okay.
So that's another trouble. And if you have an issue with the Taiwanese, even the ways that we deal with that issue will be different.
If you're not Taiwanese.
No, because it's like that. I try to understand that because it's a country and they have to take care of everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that when in a country, even you have the passport, even you take the ID, they will still call you foreign.
Yeah.
Because you are not Asian and you don't come from Taiwan. That's it.
So
And you look differently. So my kids are mixed.
Yeah.
But sometimes people will say to them they are foreigners.
But they were born here.
Yeah. They are Taiwanese. They have a Taiwanese passport.
For you to be fully accepted, you have to have the passport, but also be 100% Taiwanese in blood.
Exactly. That's the way they think. Because as long as you don't look at them, you are a foreigner.
Okay. You think that will ever change in the future?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I'm not talking about just Taiwan, I'm talking about the whole Asia.
Yeah.
And it's not just Asia. Even in Europe and in the States, it's the same.
In Africa,
Obama was half white, half, but they say he's a black man. Even Trump, Donald Trump was saying, okay, he has to prove that he's really from America. You remember that?
Yeah.
In Europe, it's the same. So they don't care about, yeah, you are like this, like that. Sometimes they can give you some high position, but it depends on which level.
In Africa, would you say it's?
They are African. That is different. In Africa, we don't reject our blacks. I bring my kid in Africa, they will not say they are foreigners.
Because they have African.
African.
Maybe Ivorian.
You are African. You are from Africa. Ivory Coast. And so we may be happy to see that, oh, you are mixed with different nations. So we are exotic, but you are still from Ivory Coast.
Well, what happens if I'm white and I move to Africa? Will I be, let's say I got the passport, I've been living here, I understand the language custom.
You are a white guy.
Will I be Ivorian though?
You are a white guy. You have a lot of people some white people they are born in Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
I have a friend is from Taiwan.
Yeah.
He went to Ivory Coast, he was 6 years old. Today is like 42 years old. He speak like our French, like no worries, man, that guy. But at the same time, you are from Ivory Coast, you make joke with him like a brother.
Yeah.
But when you look at him, he will say from Ivory Coast, we say it depends on the way he's talking, he's been talking to you. If he's really close to you guys, then it's different. You know, you can say someone is not from your country, depending on the way that person interacts with other people. Depending on the way the person also feels himself. When you feel
that
you belong here and you get involved with the society, in the reality, you speak the language and you are with them, you share the culture, they will accept you, no problem.
So for kids who are born here, like I think because it's new in Asia, Asia is just opening up. 30 years from now, people who are born here, people who do speak the language and who are immersed in the culture, they will probably feel like they're Taiwanese. But do you think Taiwanese society and then in the broader scope, do you think Asians will accept them in the future? Or they will still be like, hey, you're not 100% our country, our blood, so you're not really one of us, you're a foreigner. You think it'll always be like that?
Dude, I can say it's impossible to say never, because no one can know what
future holds.
I just hope that one day and no matter which color exists in that earth, people will still treat themselves with respect as human. We are all human. It's just a matter of color. And Asia, is a post civilization like Africa. Very post civilization. And we are very close sometimes because the way they think things about that death, about respecting old people. That country, when you are older, like someone says, okay, you have to say that girl to that J or Abe. They have this thing, that's not in Africa. You can call someone by his name as long as the guy is older than you. And they don't give a shit. No one will call me, oh, Uncle Bony, because you are a friend of his father. No, so we call you by your name. But here, they say Uncle.
In Africa, they say
it's the same. Also. It's the same.
Okay, so there are a lot of similarities between African culture and Asian culture.
There is a lot of similarities. A lot. So that's why I said, but today in Africa, a lot of parts in Africa have been colonized. All these countries that we have, the borders have been made by the colonizers. There were no borders. It was just divided in Africa. Okay. And the thing is, these people, they are like that, the way they are, and they still follow the modernism, but they try to keep the tradition, their culture. So it makes them sometimes be racist because Asia got too much attacked by foreign countries also. Because it was open also that was long time ago. Starting from China, it's open said, oh, the American was there, the Italian was there, the British was there. So they introduced option in these people's society to fuck up the world, to destroy the world, to destroy the whole system. And the people were starting to have bad behavior. Hawkers, everything was there. And those pubs, we call pub here, because the pub started in Asia. A place where you can drink beer and talk to people and say go that way. And at the same time, this pub, you have a lot of girls also that was used like prostitutes in the backyard. There are many things. And after that, they destabilized the total society. And after they left, China closed himself, he said, for a long time. They didn't want to deal before it anymore. A lot of books have been stolen, a lot of things have been stolen. Those spaghetti that we call spaghetti, they come from China. That's what they did it. They stole a lot of things from these people. So they close themselves. At the same time, it makes them be too
rigid
and
too like
with foreigners,
not accepting
exactly.
But here's what the most obvious question is Africa has been attacked so many times too. It's kind of like the same. But from what you're telling me, on the African continent, people are still more open to.
It's different. It's another story. Our thing started over 400 years ago, and the Asians, they haven't been colonized. They were there, but we have been colonized, and they took our people, they sent them everywhere. So we have been also destabilized. And they set in these places as bosses, as owners, as colonizers for years. They came in Asia, they do their stuff and they left. But in Africa, they still live, they stayed.
So
to make sure that
colonizers before, they still already living.
Then you have to get used to see them. And sometimes they make some deals with the population. Some of them also they make good thing for the population. They try to do well, okay, you are sick, and they give you medicine and that, employ some people to work the administration. They make some deals with locals. So we become more like cool to see them every day. That's totally different. And even now you have a lot of Western. They are more in Africa than in Asia. And other thing, we speak the language.
French, English,
In Asia, they still got a traditional language. But there, that's what we speak. It's sometimes even better than our own mother tongue. So you can compare the same. It's totally different.
All right, back to the conversation. So you and I had a conversation before, and one of the main reasons why I want to set up this blog is because I'm living out here in Asia, and me being from America, I have the chance to talk to people I would never get to talk to if I was only living in the States. Even being from New York. And when I talk to people from Africa, I love talking to brothers from Africa, but the thing that I find is that there's a divide or a disconnect between Black Americans and Black Africans. And one of the things that always surprises me is that the impression that Africans have of Black Americans is that we're not Afrocentric. We're ashamed of our past being from Africa. And maybe we don't know a lot about Africa. And I think that has a lot to do with, like I was talking to one South African girl, and she was trying to familiarize me with what tribalism is. And it's like, okay, when she tells me what it is, it sounds like what we call divide and conquer. And so what I'm seeing is that a lot of the information that's being fed to you in Africa about Black Americans, who many of us, probably not most of us, at least we know that we're African somehow. And what we're probably trying to do, a lot of us, we give our children African names or even Islamic names, and because that for us is pretty much the same. But a lot of us, especially in an economic sense, want to establish ties with Africa. Like I've been to Senegal once, I've been to Ghana once. I saw numerous, if you walk around in Ghana, probably in a crowd, you're going to bump into some Black Americans. And so I think that what you're being fed in Africa about Black Americans is just specifically for that reason to make it like, okay, these people don't like you, and it's to divide us and keep us separate and weak. So, like, what question am I trying to ask you? Like, what things what images have you seen of Black Americans, and what's the impression that you've gotten being from Africa or living abroad of Black people in America?
Well, that's a very interesting question, but there's not just in America.
Yeah.
The people also from the Caribbean island,
Yeah.
as I said. We have also there some people, and their behavior is totally different.
Okay.
As I said before, I was with a woman from Haiti. She's
Asian.
Her father is a red Indian from Haiti.
Okay.
Her mother is white. So she was like really mixed.
Yeah.
And, you know, she comes from that kind of family. And she said a lot. She said a lot about what she heard as she was a child. And the reality also in Haiti, you know, the people with a little bit lighter skin are treated better than the people with dark skin. And some people from the same country, they think they don't give the same opportunity to the darker skin, even for work and whatever.
Okay.
So that's the reality. I mean, the same country, and this is like that. And I faced that also with her. I saw sometimes some of the friends, what I say I'm from Africa, because they thought I was also from Haiti.
Okay.
Because you know, she speak French, because I speak French, and you know this thing like soul music, and I can dance with music. I can dance also sometimes Cuba music, Latin music. I was interested in that. So sometimes I could dance that. I have my cigars and I have my things. They call me Mano. And we go to some pubs, you know, Latino pubs.
Yeah.
You know, people was really thinking, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they knew I'm African, but my way was like, you know, like Caribbean guy, you know, I have that flair. And some of them, they really were from Africa. And it was like, and she always had to say, what is your problem? We're from Africa, and then she's mixed, and she was on my side. But she told me the truth, what the people say, what they think, and I experimented with. And I tried also sometimes to clear them. You know what?
So they would think that because you're from Africa, you don't have any style.
They don't even want to be called African. Say to them, Negro, they will deal with them. It's even better. But when you say you are from Africa, it's an insult. From the people from Guyana, people from which country? Martinique or whatever. They are like this.
Okay.
And even from Haiti.
Okay.
You know when you say nègre is Negro in French.
Negro, negra.
Nègre. Voilà. Noir is black in French.
Yeah.
They say nègre, they say noir, black.
Yeah.
But you can say that to them.
And they're okay with it.
It's better. That's
African
okay.
is a curse.
So when you say to them, you are African, that's an insult. Because for them, they are upgraded. They are too much better than Africa. That's in the Caribbean island. In some of them, I'm not speaking about all. In Cuba, maybe it's different. In some countries, maybe they don't give really a big deal. In Reunion Islands, they are mixed in with Arab, with Indian, with Chinese, with blacks. So it's different. Madagascar also.
Yeah.
It's another stuff. It's not the Caribbean island. But in Reunion Island and Seychelles, or these places, like that. That's things that I heard from her, and I saw that. And we have also some documentaries where the people were experiencing stuff. And you go to France, it's the same. It's the same. They really think they are upgraded Africans. And then back to our brother in the States, I saw some footage where some people, a pastor in the church was talking really utter bullshit, and I was surprised.
Like for example,
he said that why the people want to associate the black American from the African. We come from Africa, but here we are in the States, and we are more civilized than the African. Because Africa have no civilization. We never had civilization. I said if he was a pastor, I would try to ask my friend if he can still find that.
I think you'll find that kind of ignorance among black Americans. I think, especially when our grandparents were young, the only education they had was education from whites that taught them that. And my father will tell you, he learned this in school. Africa is a little tiny place, and the people that live in Africa are more like animals than people. And you should be grateful to whites because they saved you and civilized you. And I think what eliminated that was when black people started to educate themselves. So my parents can tell you about all the empires that Africa had, and the history, going back to Kush and Egypt, and the West African empires like Songhai, Ghana, Mali, Songhai or Songhai?
Lord, you can say that in English, okay, Songhai.
Okay, the Congolese empire, the things like that, all these things, the Zulus, Zimbabwe. We learned about these things growing up. This was us educating ourselves. So I think there still might be some small contingent of black Americans who are still trapped in that mindset where they have, and it's really a mindset that gives them an inferiority complex.
That was a pastor at the church. And then when you are supposed to spread the gospel, to spread the gospel, to save your people's soul by saying what God wants them to listen, and you use that trust that's put in you to make you be a pastor. And you say something like that, exactly the same thing like the white pastor they did in Africa. I ask myself, what is wrong with that guy?
I'll tell you what's wrong.
And that was just one example. I don't know if it was made plenty of this example. I met a girl here. She came here. She's mixed from I don't know many things anyway, and she's living somewhere in Hong Kong. She came here for travel. She was my customer. And then we were talking about the same thing like the blacks. And then she said, yeah, it's the same, man. You know, when in a community, even the same black community, when your skin is lighter, somehow, when there is something, the white people in the same community, white people, they accept you more because you are whiter. And
in America also, she said.
She said, she said that. And she said her boyfriend was more darker skin with those, dreadlocks. And one day they were together, blah, blah, and when he came, they treat him differently. And she said that to me. I said, wow. I said, but what about as friend, when you have friends who are darker skin and that and that? I said, yeah, okay, it's fine, but her friend who are more darker skin, when she is with them, it's okay. But when she has another friend who's lighter skin, and that friend or darker skin come, she has a feeling that the other friends, they don't even want to accept her too much. So I was like, boom. For me, I found that so stupid because I think, you know what, no matter if you are lighter skin or you are mixing or you black or whatever you want, for the white man,
just as black. And
I was still mixing.
He's still considered black.
He's a Negro.
Societies.
Even the president from Italy at that time, what is his name? Oh, fuck. Berlusconi. He made a joke about the mom. You know, it's like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, really.
And I would say what your friend, what this woman told you is unusual because for Black Americans, we've always known it's not like in the Caribbean where you'll get a higher status in society if you're lighter skinned. Black people who are light skinned and black people who are darker skinned have to face the same kind of discrimination, have to understand that we're all kind of fighting the same struggle. And I think that amongst us, that's what, in a lot of cases, eliminated. There still is what you call colorism. There still is the idea that if you're lighter, you're more beautiful. Those ideas of being lighter and being superior, but I think at the end of the day, you know that these lighter-skinned people are not getting anything more than darker-skinned.
Dude, that problem is not just in the state. It's been in my own country.
It's everywhere. I think it's here
in my country. You know, you see these women there.
Yeah,
some of them, they are lighter skin. Some of them are really lighter skin. Some of them in my own family.
Do you think she bleaches her skin? This
No,
looks like her right
no,
here. She's like that. She
no.
just looks like that.
Yeah, in my own family, you have people who are lighter than me. That's my real skin, man.
Yeah, me too.
I'm light. It will be lighter. Some people are lighter than me in my own family.
Yeah.
My uncle is lighter. We have
So
that.
those people treated differently. In your
No,
family?
no, we don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. What I want to say to you is, in the big part of Africa, women take some cream to have a lighter skin. Because they think that being lighter makes you more attractive.
Yeah.
It will be more attractive. The
Are
black
they
men will
right?
like
Are
you.
they right? Are they correct with that?
But
Because I know a lot of guys.
In fact, in my country, many boys they like lighter skinned girls.
In America too. Yeah. Yeah.
And they do.
They do that here also in Taiwan. I think
You do that in Taiwan. You have they have a lot of cream for
bleaching cream. I would say there hasn't been. There probably you can count on one hand how many places have not been ripped in half, psychologically and emotionally, by this idea of white supremacy. There are places that haven't been infected by that way of thinking where people just think about, I just want to be me and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
You can count those places on one hand though.
Yeah, I hope so, man. But I tell you,
but they need to
you
be
know,
more.
in my country, what we are trying to do now, you know that moderator of the movement.
Yeah.
Let's see, there's another one. The one who made that TV show.
Okay.
She used
She bleaches.
Yeah.
She bleaches her skin.
And then people spoke so much,
Yeah.
she stopped it.
Good.
And she's encouraging every woman in the country not to do that. So now in my country, it's like your natural hair. Don't
Yeah.
buy those Brazilian shape, those
weave or
wigs.
extensions.
Yeah. No, they don't want. You have to have your curly hair. That is natural. You know, in Europe, many women they pay money to have curly hair.
Okay.
They go to the hair salon to have curly hair.
Yeah,
Some
white
women,
women.
they go to the solarium to have a tan
Tan
skin.
skin.
And you have that for free, and you want to be like them. That is something that I can understand. I can date any kind of girl.
Yeah.
I can have white, black, yellow, because I don't mind color.
Yeah.
My family have different colors.
Yeah.
And I said to you, my nephew have 2 kids with a woman from Sweden. I have 2 sisters married with French guys, white French guys. My grandma has a child with a white guy. So my aunt is mixed.
Okay.
And I have 2 Taiwanese kids. And now my son's girlfriend is from Czech Republic. So I don't mind this thing. For me, it's fine. As long as we share respect and we know we are not the same. We are not the same. That's the truth. We are the same human, but we are not the same. We don't have the same culture. We don't look alike. We are the same about everything, biologically speaking. Even in the biologically speaking, some bones, something are not the same. We have a different body type.
Physiological makeup.
That's clear. But we are the same human. We are the same human. That thing must be clear. And we don't have the same culture. We don't have the same culture. It's totally different.
Okay.
But we have the same brain. We have to think. We are smart. We all are smart. And we have to look each other as human and respect each other culture and origin. That's it. But say that, oh, we are the same. That is not true. We are not the same. Someone will say we are the same. That's a lie. And that's why we have problems. Because as long as you don't feel like them, oh man, automatically you're outcasted. No. I am black. I have my history. I have my way of thinking, and that makes me sometimes act like this, like that. Because I'm black, I come from Africa. You white, you come from whatever your country. You act like that because it's like that, you have a history, and that makes you act like that. And I must understand that based on your history. So based on my history, you have to understand also my reaction now. Then what you can do, you have to make it clear. You have to find a compromise.
Compromise. Okay.
Okay? What happened, happened. I will not keep you responsible for what happened. I can even understand why you think that now you have this condescendence, because wherever you go in the conquered territory. You are like the boss.
Yeah.
Since
superior.
Since before you even get born, everything has been done for you already to enter in that world as a master. Now you have to understand when I'm frustrated, and sometimes I can act with emotion, and sometimes I can be pissed off or angry because I'm frustrated. And what your color, your culture has done in that world is to make me be more frustrated, because now I understand why you are like that. I made you be like that. You use me to be what you are today. You recognize that. You know that. If you say, okay, I know what is yours. I know what belongs to you. And I'm ready to give my hand as a brother, as human. And I don't care about your color or whatever, and I will respect you the same way you respect me. That's his brother. And that kind of relationship exists.
Okay. We have seen it.
No, of course, I said to you, there's a friend from England who was here the last time. We always speak about that. And even say things to us as they were kids, was to teach us. And then finally, you say something is wrong, and you try to make this new research. He's mad at us. His mother also helped him to change. Because his grandma was racist, but his mother said, no, we are all this and that and that, trying to do that, learn about this and that and that. He heard about Nelson Mandela, he heard about many guys in Africa from his own mother. She was an activist.
Okay. This is my question. The one question I'm hearing on this. When you hear someone talk about humanity, and okay, we're all different, but we're all human beings, and there's something that joins us all.
Yeah.
We should practice brotherhood.
Yeah.
When you hear someone say stuff like that, it's usually a black person. And when the other kinds of people in the world, you might see the one here and one there. Is it easier for black people? There's something about black people that makes us want to practice brotherhood with everyone else. And something that is like, if you're not a black person, you would be more likely to have a barrier up between people who are not exactly like you. There's something about black people that makes us more likely to practice brotherhood with other kinds of people who are not like us.
I understand, and that's the sad. That is sad and true. Because, as I said to you, I feel comfortable when I speak about my problem as being black. I'm black.
Yes, we can talk about this.
Because we can talk about that. We all have the same story, we feel the same situation even now. It's totally different when you have to speak about that with a white guy. Because it will feel like sorry for what is happening to you.
Yeah.
It will feel that sometimes you feel like guilt. Yeah, you feel guilty for what is happening to you. Although it could also really be honest with you and tell you exactly what a white man is thinking when he look at you. And that friend is doing that. He said to us, you have to know, guys have to know something. That's what he said to us. Since we were child, until we grew up, that's what he said to us. And you have to understand things like, for us, the top is white. And then men, white men.
Okay.
And then after the same level, you have white women and blacks at the same level. It means a white man will never give a higher position, doesn't really look as a white woman who's like this. So
yeah,
what white woman like, yes, no, like that. And in the same ways it's also blacks.
Okay.
That's also something that I care for him, and he said that's the truth. Because that's the way you really watch people. Then I was like, wow. I said, why? He said, that's the truth. white people mindset. That's always a thing.
Okay.
That was interesting. Because when you speak about brotherhood and that, we're just used to think about man, brothers of man. But that brotherhood will be also between a woman and a man.
See each other as two equals.
Exactly. But the beginning, the essence of that word is already built on men. Brotherhood. I never hear a sisterhood. You understand?
Yeah.
And who created that word brotherhood is white.
Yeah.
That's what I said to you. Just to let you understand that it's a white man. Head. So far I heard from my friend, a good friend of me, he said that's the way it's a white man classified in humanity. You have a white man, then down you have a white woman and a black person. Or maybe black sometimes it be sometimes it be down there. Okay. So back to what you said. Yeah, I'm comfortable when I speak about problem, black problem with a black person. But at the same time, as I used to say, speaking about our problems doesn't lead us to hate. You are also extremists in the black society. People who say, oh, they're like that, they're so bad, man. It's a bad people, I hate them, and this and that and that. I think the time for hate is over. If you hate someone just because the person is white, you are not better than the white racist who hate you just because of that. You are not better than people. You are not better than people. You are the same. You are the same. And I don't want this kind of people to want me as that. Because when you want to put hate in front of hate, it leads to a chaos or wars or anything will happen. We never forget what's happening to us. What they are still doing, you see that. But you have to understand that some of them are not agree with what is happening. Even though, as white, they enjoy that system that has been made for them. But you have to understand that some of them, they are not thinking like that. Some of them, really in their mind, they want to be with us as brothers. And they don't think that they are better than you, or they want to manipulate us, something like that. No. I said to people, do you think that slavery has been abolished just by the blacks? They're white. But the same people who abolished the slavery. They made this decision to stop it. Then the story about why they abolished slavery, that's another story. But even in that time, there were some people who was not a good that case. Why do you think people do that and do that? Some people they lost their life and they was white. They lost their life because they were just wanting to protect themselves. There was a lot of history about that. So that's why I say we are all human. And as a human, we know what is good, what is bad, what is not fair. We know that. That's what we have. I mean, an animal has instinct. And when we eat, it eats. That's it. You know, but humans know what is fair, what is not fair. And that is something that we all have to help together as humans, no matter in which country.
Okay.
Hey, salut!
Salut, how are you?
Ça va?
Wes.